We have to review this because this has been my favorite clip of the entire year so far, of a good year as well. So it's like the cream of the crop is you versus Tomi Lahren, exposing her as a covert feminist. And I mean exposing her in the best way. So let's have a little quick review of this and then we'll talk about it.
So I think over the last probably 10 years, there has been what I call the pussification of men.
I'm going to skip this because this bit was a bit boring, but then we'll get into the bit where you responded to her calling her a feminist, which was the best.
It's nonsense, ultimately.
Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense, ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues, for you to say things like, well, men, what I want is for men to protect me and I want men to make money. Well, that's great. What that ends up doing is it gives you a set of privilege in society. What do men get? What do men get for doing that for you? What are we getting from women for doing that? Are we getting chaste virgins on our wedding night?
Look at her face.
We're not getting chaste virgins on our wedding night. Are we getting women of great virtue? No, we're not getting women of great virtue. The idea of courtly love is supposed to be done for women of great virtue. Where are they? Well, they're nowhere. And so in modernity, in society, when female conservative influencers say this, it's actually a form of covert feminism. They're saying, I want privilege in society, right? But what is it women are giving to men to get it? What are they giving them? Tell me.
Well,
All
right, I want to do this play-by-play. First of all, let's break down this first bit here. Tomi is just sitting there with this sort of weird, like, Botox smile going on, and it's almost like she's shocked by hearing this. Andrew? Tell me what's so shocking about that from a conservative-based woman?
So this is simple. When we're talking about duties in society, nobody ever discusses them. They talk about rights. But my right to do X. I have a right to do this. I have a right to do that. What about your duties? What are you obligated? What are your obligations to society, to family, to brethren? What are they? Nobody likes to discuss those. And so we take a look at it from the macro level all the way down to the micro. What are men's duties? Well, those are assessed and we pretty much understand them. Men's duties are to protect. They are to procure resources, protect those resources. They are to refine those resources, distribute those resources, and they are to protect women and children, right? That is the idea. And the resources, by the way, that men procure and refine, they go mostly to women and children, right? At the expense of men. Men actually don't, most of the resources don't even go to us. That's why men support large families, right? Now, if you have 5 children, 6 children, you're the primary breadwinner procuring resources, you don't even get to see most of those resources. And you still have the obligation of protection. Okay, that's fair. I can accept that as a duty. I think you could accept that as being a duty that you have as a man too. So what is the equivalent duty that women have to society that we clearly see that men have, even right down to the baseline family level where, somebody broke the window, dad's checking that shit out with the revolver, not mom, right? Even at the base level, men have this duty and they are constantly destroyed if they don't follow that duty. So if they ignore cries for help or they ignore when people are being victimized, they are publicly demasculated for doing this, for not coming in and aiding those who are weaker than them. So it's very clear that there's a societal obligation through necessity that men are in these roles. So the answer to this for women should only be one thing. What is the equivalent duty for women? It should be this: reproduction. That should be the duty. Does that mean that every woman needs to reproduce? No. That just means that the duty in society, just like for men, not every man's going to be able to be a protector, but all of society should be moving towards men being in that role and glorifying that role, making that role good, making that role something to aspire to. And it's the same thing with women and reproduction, moving towards the family, moving towards having children, not vilifying it, no antinatalism, none of that. That is what the equivalent duty is. But because she's a covert feminist, guess what she didn't say? And they never say this. They never say that there's an obligation to reproduce. Now, I don't know. Has Tomi actually reproduced? I have no idea. You know what I mean? No. But the thing is like most of these on the right, they don't feel like they have any obligation to move towards reproduction or reproductive future for the health of the nation. Instead, they just say, here's what men are supposed to be doing. And since they're not doing it, we're not going to fuck them. That's it. That's all. That seems to be the entire currency marker that they have is you're not acting. You're acting like a douchebag and you're being a big meanie head to women. And we don't have any duties. And Tomi Lahren, what she goes on to say right here is just that men are hardwired to do this and women have no duties.
All right, let's have a listen because Big Gay James tries to speak and Piers has to shut him up. But
Piers, can I please chime in here?
Yes, you can. And then James can, and I'll come to you, Sean.
No, I would love to. I love this whole thing of like, if you're a female conservative and you don't believe that men should be douchebags, that all of a sudden you're a covert feminist. Call me a feminist. I really don't give one crap one way or another. But I can tell you this, a lot of these men, these podcast hosts on the right that like to think of themselves as these big masculine men and what am I getting out of it? I can tell you this.
There's that feminism.
All right, I believe I'm a woman of virtue, right? Yeah, there's the feminism. Oh, and then you're interrupting me too.
Didn't
which
take
is great.
long,
I let
did
you
it? Didn't
talk.
take
It's my
long,
turn.
did it?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak over a man?
Yeah, I don't care if you call me. I don't really care if you call me a
strong,
feminist.
independent woman.
Yeah. You're actually interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you when you were spewing your bullshit. So now it's my turn.
Speaking.
Okay.
You mean the truth?
Like I said before. So I believe there we go again. Piers, I'm a woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete, but is currently a professional baseball coach. So is he not a masculine man? I mean, I'm confused here. What's your concept of a masculine man? Mine is a man who respects me.
Yeah, that misses the point, though. Like, you're still not contending with the argument that I'm making.
What's your point?
I'm saying inside of society, right this second, right, masculinity is not only punished, but also women on the right, covert feminists on the right, are constantly and consistently talking about how they need to have privilege in society. I want men. Their version of masculinity is men who take care of us, men who protect us, men who do all of this. Those are all duties that men have towards women. Great. What are the duties that women have towards men? What are the duties that women have towards anything? What do men get out of this arrangement? What are we getting out of this arrangement? Can you tell me?
I mean,
I would argue that men innately should be protectors and providers.
Hang on one second. Let Tomi respond.
Most men are born that way.
Let Tomi respond to that, and then I'll come to you, Jez. And then Sean,
you
wait patiently. So
most men are born to be protectors and providers.
I
can't imagine my dad saying, you know what, to my mom, you know what, I'm not going to be a protector and a provider unless you do this. That's not how real men operate. Real men are protectors and providers, and they marry women who hopefully have some virtue, but also bring a lot to the table as well, that are great mothers.
I did like throwing in those little shots.
Caretakers of the home. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional wife and mother.
So stop it there, right?
You're misunderstanding me. If you
all the context you really need there. So
yep.
What Tomi goes on to say is, when I ask what is the equivalent duties, you agree with me that men should be acting this way. I agree. They should be acting in the role of protectors and providers for women. What do they get, Tomi? What do they get for doing that? And what does she say? She says, well, nothing. She says nothing. She doesn't name a single duty that women have. Instead, she says, well, it's innate, right? So, like, here's what Tomi's actually saying. What she's actually saying is, you get to take care of me. I get to utilize the resources, but you should feel really good about watching me do it, right? Because that's innate. It's inside of you that I should be able to get a bunch of resources out of you, right? And then you get to see me enjoying myself, utilizing those resources.
That is essentially the reason. Yeah, that's the reason why you were put on this earth.
Yeah, you're put on this earth. It's innate for you to be a provider and a protector. And what do you get out of it? Well, you get to see me get provided for and protected. Like, well, what's hard about this, Andrew? Right? And that ultimately was what she was contending with in her mind was she couldn't think of a single duty that she would oblige women to have. Not a single one. She couldn't think of any that women have. Now, it's because anything she came up with would have sounded absurd in comparison to what the demand was, which is I want men to protect and provide. That's a serious lifelong demand that you're putting on men. There's only one equivalency for that, as far as I can see.
And obviously, And also, it's what is the corresponding biological necessity? If men have this, if men are biologically hardwired to protect and provide, like is there a corresponding biological?
Are you biologically? Do you biologically have some sort of duty or some sort of greater societal role in, I don't know, making the next generation of protectors and providers? I think you do, because only you can. Just like only men can be in the protector role, right? Only women can be in the reproductive role. They're the only ones who can, just like we're the only ones who can. It's like, hey, this isn't hard. This isn't rocket science. You know what I mean? But the reason she got exposed so badly as being a covert feminist is, one, I'm really good at exposing covert feminists. I've been doing it for years, and I know exactly which points to hit them on, because I know within seconds of talking to one of these entitled broads where their mindset is. But really what got her to expose herself was herself just simply saying, it's innate inside of you that you do this. I would argue, Andrew, that this is innate. You want to provide for me. You want to protect me. It's part of who you are. It's part of your ontology. It's part of every man's very fiber of their being that they want to do this for women. And in exchange for that, we're going to let them. Well, that's very kind of you. Like, it's very, how wonderful of you to allow us to do this thing that you desperately need us to do. That's really fucking kind of you.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you what, it just reminds me, mate. I just hear the song "Beast of Burden" by the Beatles. By the Rolling Stones in my head every time. It's like, "I'll never be your beast of burden. I walk for miles, my back are hurting, and all I want is for you to make love to me." It just reminds me of that song so much, dude. Like, these women want, like, essentially a beast of burden, and they want a beast of burden that they can essentially just tell what to do, and because that's innate, and you should just do that. And my dad would never, and my husband was a baseball player. Like, just the most absurd
which
logic.
her personal life had nothing to do with the point. Nobody was trying to drag her on whether or not she was successful or had married a successful man. It was an indictment on what are the obligations and duties of women in society that are match these obligations and duties and expectations of men. As you sit here and vilify guys like Andrew Tate, who consistently deliver the message of, okay, women also have obligations. And if they're not meeting those obligations, tell them to fuck off, right? Tell them kiss your ass, or use and abuse them, right? And laugh all the way to the bank because they do it to you. So, you know, that message resonates because all it takes is conversations like this with the female thought leaders, and you can determine very quickly that all that they really fucking care about is that you innately want to provide resources and protection and security for them. And in exchange for that wonderful thing that you're doing, you get to watch them enjoy it.
Wow. It's a fantastic deal.
It sure
That's
is.